When people move to Spain on a non-lucrative visa or residency, most of the focus is on getting the initial approval. But what often gets overlooked is what happens after the first year. Because renewal, switching insurance and assumptions about long-term healthcare rights are where many people run into unexpected issues. A very common assumption is, I'll just get a policy for the visa and then we'll deal with everything later. Or that switching insurance after year one will always be simple and straightforward. Or even that there will always be an easy transition to public healthcare or S1 entitlement. But in practice, these assumptions don't always reflect how the system works in reality. One important point that often surprises people is the interpretation is not always completely uniform. For example, I've seen cases where a particular insurance policy has been accepted without issue for an initial visa application in one consulate region, but the same type of policy has been interpreted differently on renewal here in Spain. Not because the insurer changed anything, but because documentation requirements and interpretation can vary depending on how and where the renewal is processed. Another area where people can run into difficulties is documentation. Sometimes well-meaning but inexperienced intermediaries submit additional documents that aren't strictly required. While that may seem helpful, it can occasionally create confusion or raise unnecessary questions during the renewal process. In some cases, that can lead to delays or requests for further clarification, which can become stressful for the applicant. So it's not just about having the right insurance, it's about ensuring the application is presented clearly and appropriately. Another assumption is that switching insurance after the first year is always simple. But depending on your health history and the underwriting process of the new insurer, switching may not always be seamless. Pre-existing conditions will be reassessed, coverage terms may differ, and treatments received during the first year of your original policy will be considered when evaluating the new application. So even if switching is possible, it's not always straightforward, and there's no guarantee that the new policy will match or improve upon the previous one. In some cases it obviously will, of course, but it really depends on your circumstances. And then there's the assumption that people will simply move onto the S1 system if you're from the UK, or public healthcare after the first year. While that may be true in some cases, the timing, eligibility and practical transition can vary depending on individual circumstances. So relying on it as an automatic next step can sometimes create gaps in planning or expectations. Careful, forward planning is essential to ensure you maintain appropriate cover at all times and remain compliant with residency or visa requirements without any breaks in cover. The key point is this: the first year is only part of the picture. What happens after that, renewals, switching and longer-term healthcare planning, is where many of the assumptions people start with are tested in practice. And those who have the smoothest experience are usually the ones who understand those long-term implications from the beginning.